Alright, welcome back to Ayumu TV. Like your comment, say, na share your videos ne a farmer me. Na ene de ya meno ka say de obia enim eye Black Rasta and ana ononso eye campaign edema eye NDC amayuko na waba monte so abekasa say eye the late John Atta enia abamonte so abekasa say ene de ya meno ka say eye Black Rasta akanse bebre de afa ho a abusia mense umrense wadaje bebo awrem na yakotie ensem a abeto eye dwane bi aba
that an elder brother of the late president John Evans Atta, a man we all loved, has come to respond to a message Black Rasta put out. This man here is a man I truly love, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's called Cadman Mills. His brother was president of Ghana, and he gave him a huge portfolio, which he managed to the best of his ability. In fact, his younger brother became one of the best presidents we ever had in this country. We nicknamed him Asumdwehene. In other words, the king of peace. He was always talking peace. Thus, John Evans Atta, he died while in power. And John Dramani Mahama continued his tenure of office as the vice president till the end of that tenure, before standing to win on his own. He tried coming back again for his second term, but Ghanaians said no. But he never gave up. 8 years later, he came back and won the elections. And his case has been unique in the history of Ghana. A sitting president is voted out of power. He waits 8 years and comes back and is democratically re-elected. And since he came into power again, they call it World War II. He's been marvelous. He's made Atta so proud. In fact, big wigs of the party wanted John Evans Atta to handpick somebody else to be his vice president. But he decided that this was the man he wanted, for a reason nobody understood till now. This was just a local boy from Bole, whose father was a big guy in the days of Kwame Nkrumah as a minister. But his father had so many children, 19 children. And all of them were involved in so many different positive activities. And when you have so many such children, it is difficult to keep an eye on all of them at a time. He could have gone wayward, but humble beginnings. He went on to become an assemblyman, went on to become an MP, and more. When Atta invited him, the same way Atta was handpicked by Rawlings and made a vice president, he invited this guy. And Mahama was shocked because there were bigger guys in the party. But for a reason, Atta was a prophet. He saw this from afar and called Mahama. Mahama came in there. And today, we are all seeing the fruits of that wonderful divine choice Atta made. Now, my brother, my sister, Cadman Mills is an elder brother of Atta. I call him a statesman. But how many people know this man? Beyond the fact that he is the elder brother of John Evans Atta. Run the dossier. Watch this. Now, Dr. Cadman Atta is a prominent Ghanaian economist. He is a policy advisor and the elder brother of the late Ghanaian President John Evans Atta Mills. And he has spent his career at the intersection of international finance and national policy. That is what we're talking about. Now, he is an economist and an advisor. He served as a senior presidential economic advisor. Did you hear that? To his brother, John Evans Atta Mills. Huge portfolio. Much of his professional life was spent at the World Bank and as an advisor to various African governments on economics and policy. This is not a lightweight. It's a heavyweight. Economics. Economics was one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. So when I hear somebody's an economist, I naturally have some strong bond with that person. He is the honorary president of the Solidaire Governance Forum, Ghana-based think tank and advocacy group. That is the Solidaire Governance Forum. My brother, he is the oldest living sibling of the late president. He also has another brother called Samuel Atta Mills, who is a member of parliament. And following his brother's death in 2012, Cadman founded and currently serves as the CEO of this foundation, which supports gifted students and children with specific needs, or better still, special needs. He acts as the executor of the late president's will and has been a vocal protector of his brother's memory, often clashing with unauthorized organizations using the former president's name. This is the heavyweight we are talking about. And in recent years, Dr. Mills has been an outspoken critic of the handling of illegal mining in Ghana, describing the government's approach as a scandal. And we have had the occasion to praise him and talk about some of these things on this show. How many people remember? He remains active in Ghanaian public discourse, recently speaking out against potential constitutional amendments regarding presidential term limits. This is Dr. Cadman Atta Mills. So, a couple of days ago, the honorable man came out to condemn President Mahama for allowing a group to come and meet him at the airport when he came from the UN, having achieved a humongous feat. And what was the feat? Simple. He had been able to get the whole world to accept that slavery is the gravest crime against humanity. Over 120 nations via the UN voted in support. 52 cowardly abstained, and 3 nations, my brother, my sister, voted against it. America, Israel, and Argentina. This is a huge feat. So, when the president was arriving, it was deemed fit to ask a few of his ministers and some other people to meet him at the airport to congratulate him on behalf of Africa and Ghana. Nkrumah would have done same. Atta Mills would have done same. But the very honorable man, the economist and the big think tank of finance and economics, came with a scathing attack. Why did Mahama do this? This is insane. And he used words beyond just insane, which I don't want to repeat. Why? Why? Atta Mills would have never done this. That's what he said. Atta Mills would have never done this. My brother, my sister, And he was reminded, oh, there was a day Atta Mills went out there to treat himself. He took the Ghanaian taxpayers' money, went out there to heal himself, disregarding all Ghanaian hospitals and doctors, and went out there. And when he arrived, the same occasion happened. A celebration of his arrival. People met him at the airport, and we all saw how they made a mockery of Atta Mills, denying the fact that he was not even ill, only for him to pass on a few days later. Remember, I was one of the biggest critics of the thing. Remember how me and Ablakwa clashed on radio, and the tapes are still there for anybody to go out there and listen to. How I said that the way they were pretending Atta Mills was okay and was not ill, it was going to be a looming disaster. And Ablakwa was angry and called on my radio show, then at Hits FM, chastising me and asking me if I was the president's doctor. On live radio, 3 days later, the president died. And the whole Ghana said Black Rasta was a prophet. Do you remember? Those of you who are younger might not remember this. But I was the guy who went on radio to say I wasn't happy with the way the ailing president was made to jump around. He was running, and he was trying to tell people that he was okay. He wasn't sick. But from when he stopped and began to talk, we could see that he was trying to catch his breath and was even nasalizing. You know what it means to say that? Speaking through the nose. My brother, my sister, he died a few days after. Yet, you never came out to criticize a man who took the public purse out, money from the public purse, to go out there and treat himself, disregarding Ghanaian doctors. But you come out to criticize a man who has achieved these feats. And you know what he said? He said that was a special occasion. That was what Cadman Mills said, that it was a special occasion. But even with that, he told Atta Mills, his younger brother, that it wasn't well with him. And again, it was insane, that's the word he used, to have done that. But you know the difference? He said it behind closed doors. When it came to Mahama's turn, boom. And I decided that I will respond to that. So when I responded to that, he fired back. But let's listen to what I said on radio. That made him angry and is asking me for a retraction. I should come again. But first and foremost, watch this. To the thing deeper. Now, Mahama goes for something that is unprecedented. For the first time in the history of mankind, a man has been able to get the whole of the UN in a standing ovation to accept that slave trade is the gravest crime ever meted out to humanity. Giants like Argentina, Israel, and America decided they would vote against it, and even that did not stop the world from agreeing with this resolution. And you think that is not a special occasion? With all respect, but you say that your brother's health, one man's health, he went to America, or was it England, to seek medical attention at the cost of the taxpayer. Yes, he was a fine president, wonderful president. Yes, we loved him, Asumgwehini. But he went to treat himself using the taxpayers' money. And when he came back, people were there to welcome him on the special occasion. How special was it? That, oh, he was in a bad shape. Now he has returned and it's not that bad. Why didn't you stay in Ghana to treat himself? Or Ghanaian doctors are not competent enough to treat Atta Mills. Don't bring yourself, Cadman Mills. With all respect, you call this a special occasion when a president doled out Ghana's hard-earned money to fly out of the nation, neglecting all the hospitals and doctors and nurses and health professionals in Ghana to seek medical attention outside the shores of this nation, medical tourism. And he returned and people decided to welcome him. We all remember how he was running when he came, jubilating that he was okay and praying down on his sickness. I don't want to go too much into it because he was a fine gentleman and I don't want to go into that at all. We have spoken about it in the past. Please let the old man rest in peace. How special or how more special was this occasion, more than the UN resolution to identify and agree to the horrendous, can I say that word again, horrendous, nauseating slave trade being accepted now as the gravest crime in all humanity. And it took a Ghanaian president, a man whose political mentor was your brother, John Evans Atta Mills. Why? If Atta Mills, traveling outside the country with the taxpayers' money to heal himself and return, had so many people come there to welcome him, and now you are hypocritically saying that you told the president that it was bad. Why didn't you tell Mahama it's bad? You went out to play to the gallery. When it was your brother, it was okay to go behind the door and tell him, bro, why nyadi cry?